About 15 buildings here have been abandoned for quite some time. They did a lot of searching for the kids here.
Specifically for Jennifer and I believe Holly Ann.
Growing up on Staten Island, Barbara and I had often heard the legend of Cropsey.
You're supposed to have a hook and axe with a knife about this big.
Cropsey was the escaped mental patient who lived in the tunnels beneath the old abandoned Willowbrook Mental Institution, who would come out late at night to snatch children off the streets.
I would have never guessed about the amount of weirdos living on Staten Island.
It might be somebody on your block. It might be somebody you work with.
You know, here's this guy going around picking off these kids.
I can imagine how other parents, even if your kid's gone for an hour, I can imagine how they must feel.
You know, that's probably one of the last things that you ever think about, that somebody would take your daughter.
It seemed like everywhere I went, there were people out in the woods looking for that little girl.
It's no question if we were going to find her. We definitely were going to find her.
She thinks we're picking at dead children's bones.
We just want closure on this, that's all.
What was that?
I heard something.
Look down there. Look down in the hallway.
It's scary because we have a boogeyman living on Staten Island all those years.
That image forced a lot of people to say, that is the killer.
There's no reason for him to exist anywhere else, you know, other than jail.
We had the same questions that you're asking me. Why did he do this? What set him wrong?
It's sort of like putting a puzzle together.
You know, he likes to be the center of attention, the keeper of the secrets.
So I think it'd be great if you could speak for your
What if we just do audio?
Safety, I will not go on.
Do you think they're all around us?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Folks, I'm Dutch Doll. I'm the host of Dutch Doll Discussions. Today's All Hallows Eve, the day before Thanksgiving, right? Halloween. And I promise you guys something special for tonight. My back is feeling better. My neighbor had some Flexol for my back, and I'm starting to feel better. I can move around a little bit more. Thank you guys for being patient. Promise you something special. Decided to cover serial killers in the city of New York. Just the city of New York. I'm not going to touch serial killers out in Florida. That crazy bitch, what's her name? The hooker up and down Warnos. We're not going to touch that. She's on the boat of the mothership. We're going to stay in the 5 boroughs. Maybe a little bit past. Maybe Long Island. But it'll... Yeah. 2 of these I remember vividly. One, I was a kid growing up in Brooklyn. I remember the Andre Rand killings in Staten Island. And the Gildo Beach murders. I was a detective on the job helping Nassau County investigate this. Not that I was involved in the investigation. Not at all. But are there any real experts in serial killers? Because who knows what goes on in their heads. They're so unexpected in what they plan. How can you be an expert in it? You can specialize in it, but you're never an expert. And the only expert I know is a behavioral science student in Quantico at the FBI Academy. And only the best of the best get that course. Civilians don't get that course. You may take an interest in that in college, but come on. You can't major in serial killers, can you? Unless you are one. Are you? Are you?
I went looking for trouble. And boy, I found her. She's in love with herself. She likes the dark. And on her milk white neck, the devil's mark. Now it's All Hallows Eve. The moon is full. But will she trick or treat? I'll bet she will. She
You hear serial killer. The first name that usually pops in the head is the son of Sam, Dave Berkowitz. But there's been so many. Eileen Wuornos down in Florida killing people because she's an unemployed hooker, and just the whole movie Monster was a great movie. You had Dave Berkowitz, this, 44 caliber killer out there killing young couples in their cars. Remember that Summer of Sam? The Summer of Sam, remember that? Everybody forgets Joe Rifkin. Joe Rifkin killed 17 women, dumped it in various areas across the city. Some of them in Brooklyn, in the Gowanus Canal. He did the East River. Yeah, he got caught. They all got caught, didn't they? Robert Schulman. This prick was killing 5 female prostitutes between 1991 to 1996. It was New York City Police Department that brought this asshole down too, right? Right. And does anybody know what caught Dave Berkowitz? What was the big break? Big break was a fucking parking ticket. Would you believe that? He received multiple parking tickets in the areas of the murder. What detective put that together, right? Let's check the parking tickets. Maybe some meter maid got lucky. Maybe some cop doing his due diligence wrote a guy. We don't know. It was a wide net. It was. Now, if you watch the documentary on David Berkowitz, it looks like some pretty shoddy police work. I mean, the documentary goes into how shoddy the police work was. That we found a man, we never looked for anybody else, we pulled everything on him, and with great results, crumb critiques. Somebody's always going to criticize your work, right? My view, New York City Police Department did some dick-busting fucking police work, got their man, brought him home, prosecuted, in jail he went. As far as we're concerned, that's what we gave a fuck about. The murders stopped. Now, as a kid growing up in Brooklyn in the 80s, there were the Cropsey murders. I remember the murders on the news very, very vividly in my mind. I remember the cop on the radio said, when Jennifer Schweiger's father came to the crime scene because he thought they found her, and the cop asked for permission for the father to go view the body, and the lieutenant says, unless they can walk on water, nobody goes near this crime scene. I remember him saying it on the news. News Channel 7 was covering it. And I had the experience not to work the case, but be on the job when the Guildhall Beach murder started. Case really hasn't been officially closed. It's gone cold. Fuck yeah, that case is cold right now. But, yeah, it's still an active investigation. They always thought a cop did it, or somebody was fired from the job, or somebody retired from the job. They always thought that, but they could never prove it. Berkowitz, these guys, as far as I know, all of them, Schulman's dead, Rifkin's dead, Berkowitz is dead, Andre Rand is in some prison upstate serving his time. They only convicted him of one murder on circumstantial evidence. Jennifer Schweiger. There was an organization in Staten Island called the Friends of Jennifer. There was a woman out there who was very instrumental in canvassing the areas for the bodies, looking for these children. There was like 7 or 8 kids stolen in Staten Island. This Staten Island back in the 80s. Cops are still driving around in blue cars. The blue cars instead of white cars. Still light blue shirts. Still carrying 38s. Out there doing some good police work. Trying to do good police work. And you got this maniac in Staten Island abducting mentally handicapped kids. Autism. Something with a birth defect. Kids. Well, they had a phrase. Touched by an angel. Kids who would never know the harshness and the stress, the harsh reality of the real world because they are coddled and they're smiling all the time. And I would have thought to myself, who is the one who's mental disability? Me, who's out there every day looking at this shit and going home depressed every night, or this kid who watches us on TV and all he does is smile because if that kid is really happy, I want that kid's life. That kid is truly happy. It must be something to live a life like that, right? The life of Riley, as we would say. There is a unit in the FBI that investigates serial killers. It's a behavioral science unit. It's at Quantico, Virginia. Only law enforcement gets that course. Believe me, I broke my back in the homicide course in the NYPD. I was not going for serial killers. There's only one guy. Get this is the one guy in all NYPD who does serial killers. You think as a civilian you're gonna take that course with the FBI? Fuck who you know? Fuck no, you're not. He does the occult. He's the guy who does the underlayer of whatever's creepy in the NYPD, whatever creepy in New York City. This guy knows it all. He goes to courses. And he did all this stuff in his own dime. He became an expert in the NYPD and is court recognized as an expert. Folks, you may be an expert in court. You may be an expert witness. You can be. You may have all the qualifications to be one. Unless the court sees you as one. The district attorney signs off as you being one. The police department says you could be one. The judge, the court itself says you could be one. You're not one, even if you meet all the criteria. That's why I'm strictly opposed of people going out and collecting their own fucking evidence. Something you don't do. The second the civilian picks up the evidence, that evidence is null and void and is admissible in court. Did you know that? Does anybody know that? You cannot collect your own evidence. Don't finger fuck shell casings. Don't do it. Can't use it. How do I know you didn't place it at the scene? How do I know you didn't take it? How do I know you didn't go down and fire through? If I've had 9mm shell casings that you threw me off and you fired fucking 38 shell casings and dropped them at the scene, I don't know. You contaminated my crime scene. And if you contaminate evidence, evidence can't be used in court. Can't be. Something like a fucking phone. You open a phone, you take a SIM card out, null and void, can't use it anymore. You have any interaction with this. Let's say you're an idiot. Let's say you're fucking an idiot with money and you want to spend money. So you take the phone, you take it to somebody, and you do data recovery. I'm going to help the police department. I'm going to prosecute my own case. You have no authority. Chain of custody. Integrity of evidence. Those are key words in court. We use those words. We live by those words. Don't finger fuck my crime scene, kid. Get the fuck out of here. Have crime scene come down, have them document it and photo it. I want video of all this. I want fingerprints. I want elimination prints. I want boot prints. No, you wouldn't go that crazy at a regular murder, but you know what I'm saying. But anything electronic, you try to download, you plug that fucker in by yourself, it's over. There's no validity to that evidence anymore. No matter what you fucking find on it, there's no validity anymore. Now, take this into account. You find some idiot's phone, digital device, something like that. It's got child porn on it, right? You take it home, you open, you break in, because you don't need a warrant, it's discarded property. There's no expectation of privacy anymore. There's no warrants needed. So you get in there, open it up. I found child porn on the fucking, you know what I'm going to say? You're in possession of child porn. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. You reported it. You're in possession of this. You didn't have to pick it up. You should have called us in the first place. Listen, you may get out of the charge. You're probably going to get out of the charge. When you give an explanation, talk to the district attorney and whatnot. But you're going in. You are fucking going in. I got nothing better to do but fucking try to close the case. So, now, as far as going out, like people go out and they want to be I'm a fucking serial killer expert. I fucking took a course in it. No, I took a course in the fucking science of love in college. Figured it'd be a nice way to meet girls. Doesn't mean I'm fucking Casanova, does it? Sorry. No, it doesn't. Anybody know the first serial killer in New York was a woman? Lizzie Halliday. Started killing people in the 1800s. Killed at least 5 people that we know of. Yeah, well, it's kind of a black widow. She killed her husbands first. I mean, they always do, right? We're always the first to go. 2 husbands within a few years of marriage. They couldn't say they say it's murder because they couldn't rule out natural causes at the time. It was 1894. Typhoid Mary. Did you know she was a serial killer? She knowingly had typhoid. She was a carrier, not asymptomatic of it. And she passed it on. She kept working. She was a housemaid, a cook. She passed it on through her cooking. She was a serial killer. She might not fit the cookie cutter version of it, but yeah, she was one. She knowingly passed this one on. They say John Kelly was one. They think John Kelly or John Smith. Well, John Kelly, I think it was an Irish name. Was actually the serial killer Jack the Ripper from England that came over on a boat, steamer. Started his life as an American civilian, citizen, and kept killing people. I look back into it. I can't find any. I mean, New York City Police Department's not going to have records from that long ago. I can barely find records on the cases I did 10 years ago. After the fire, I kind of lost everything. But I actually did work cases, which is a lot more than other people can do. Off the top of my head, I can recognize 6 or 7 serial killers in the city of New York. Serial kill is a pattern, and a pattern is defined by the crime of 3. 3 or more make a pattern. Now, I'm pretty sure there could be a lot of sexual killings. The gay population in the city of New York, the homosexual population, homosexual, lesbian, whatever it is, LBQ2, whatever. I'm not making fun of it. I just don't remember off the top of my head. They can link a lot probably to those two. If they opened it up and they went that far. But no cop's looking to make work. It's quiet. Nobody's saying it's serial kill. Well, it is what it is at that point. But for one hatred of one certain thing, for you to go out to identify that thing in certain people, and then go out and kill them, and plan the perfect game, nobody's looking for a serial killer. And you don't know it's a serial killer until it's a serial killer, because you need 3! And 3, boom, you already have a serial killer at that point. So, it takes a special kind of person to investigate something like that. Now, I can talk about the Andre Rand stuff, and I can talk about Gildo Beach. I'm going to stick with the Rand stuff, because tonight would be a great time for people to look into the Cropsey documentary. It's put out by Ghost Robot, or Robot Ghost, one of the two. Really dark. I know Willowbrook, when I moved out to Staten Island, I knew the area very well. I used to play paintball there as a kid. I've explored all the buildings, all the underground tunnels myself. Matter of fact, I went back out there after becoming a cop, after moving to Staten Island. I may have grabbed my duty rig and a vest and threw it on and went in there. Just listen. I can qualify to recover evidence. If I found something, I could use it. Found human remains, maybe to put a spark into the case. There are kids still missing from that caper. So they put Andre Rand away on circumstantial evidence the first time around, right? But he's coming up for parole. So they hold back on the case. I actually was in Staten Island. I was working in Staten Island Auto Crime when the case came to fruition for the second time. I was attached to a Staten Island office. And I remember them bringing him in. I remember standing across the street when they brought him in, because I wanted to take a look. I mean, how often are you going to see a serial killer up close in person, right? So, I remember standing across the street and watching corrections bring him in, because he got transferred from the upstate prison to Rikers, to the jurisdiction that he was being prosecuted in, Richmond County. And then all anybody wants is to know where their loved ones are. There is a guy, Armstrong. He's the captain now in the NYPD. His sister was taken. And that's all he wanted to know. And he knew his sister. I mean, it wasn't like the sister was gone before he was born. I mean, he knew of his sister, grew up with her until she was abducted. And all he wants to know is where she is. Well, Captain Armstrong is not one of these cops doing his 20 years and out. I mean, he was a cop's cop. He's out there enforcing the law. He was a force of fucking nature on the job. Matter of fact, he was so much of a force of nature, when I had false allegations against me, he was the one investigating me, and I was scared shitless because I knew his reputation. But Willowbrook, this time of year, the wind kicking through those buildings, you hear it. dusk, starting to turn dark out. It's a fucking creepy place. I remember being there and took comfort. I had my duty rig on me. I put my hand on my gun and I'm like, I'm okay. And the wind started whipping through and it started coming up your back. You get that chill and you're like, no matter what the fuck I do, I'm not gonna. This is not gonna protect me. Fucking, we're talking ghosts and ghouls and all evil. Like I'm gonna fucking have a jump scare and fucking have another heart attack. But now, upstate New York, small town, got a Sleepy Hollow vibe to it out here. Tell you the truth, tonight, if I go out tonight to give the dogs a walk, if I can walk around my back, I'll be looking around for a headless horseman or two, or a guy with a pumpkin head on a fucking horseback, trying to cross a bridge. I may not be able to run because of my back, but, I ain't going out with a fucking put out a fight. I ain't going out like baby brother. But folks, it is Halloween. It's time to get your spook on. You can be a little scary tonight, a little mischievous. Remember, police departments are looking out there trying to protect our kids. Well, I don't have any kids, so I might dress up the boys in costume and take them out. Maybe get some candy for myself. But the New York City Police Department, tonight of all night, All Hallows Eve, they're out there grabbing people, cuffing people, bashing skulls together, getting gang members off, because tonight's initiation night for them, trying to keep our community safe. Before you go out, before you cause mischief yourself, think about that cop out there doing his job. He's only doing his job. And you may go out there to conduct mischief tonight, but remember when you get caught, it's all fair and square, right? You're getting this warning way ahead of time. And this videos, I usually have little blurbs and whatnot in it, because, listen, I'm not going to go through Andre Rand's victims. It's too long and it might offend some people. Check out the documentary for yourself. You can fast forward through it. It's a very heartfelt documentary. And Andre Rand is fucked up in the head. I mean, he's quoting old Bible, fire and brimstone, Old Testament shit. I mean, he's out there. He is fucking out there. And he's very manipulative. It's one thing we can't stand, especially as a cop. But my friends, the friends I hang out with on YouTube, they don't like manipulative people. I mean, I've run into 3 or 4 of them already, and I was the last one to see because I'm always trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and try to do the right thing by them. But listen, not too long ago, about a year, some woman was manipulating the fucking older woman, manipulating the fuck out of me, trying to get me to go after this person, go after that person, using my platform as a fucking weapon against. Nope, you got bounced, bitch. You're done. You don't use my platform to go after other people. If I want to go after somebody, I'll go after them. But you don't get a chance to go after them. If you could agree in my comment section, by all means, agree. Well, go 100% agree. But you're not going to steer my channel. You don't like guys from Mass Hall? That's on you. You're not going to go after Mass Hall on my channel. I like Kate. I like the people that work with Kate. I like Kick. I like Chief Total the Country Cop. I like fucking Vilified. I watch these channels. I may not comment on the channels, but they always get a thumbs up from me. I like Uncle Artie's Bar and Grill Stupidity. He makes me laugh. But, listen, there are other creators you can invest some time in tonight. Scare the shit out of yourself. Shutter Island is a movie I'll be watching tonight. The Cropsy. I'm going to go scare the whole unholy shit out of myself tonight. But remember, it's Halloween. Have some fun. Be a kid again. Just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. Remember. And smile when they come to the door and ring the bell for the 568th fucking time. You were a kid too. You did it. So if the bell rings, go up there put a smile on for a couple minutes. What are you, little boy? What are you, little girl? Don't ask anybody to come into your house for a piece of candy. Give them the candy and kick them on their way. Go! Bye-bye. I don't want to deal. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Anyway, folks. I want you to enjoy your Hallows Eve. And I want you to have a happy fucking Halloween. Later.
Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes 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 yes. Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes 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 yes. Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes yes. Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes 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 yes. Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes 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 yes. Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes 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 yes. Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes 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 yes. Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes 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 yes. Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes 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 yes. Stip stibbidi dip stibbidi double 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 double. Yes 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 yes.
What? What do you mean? Just a couple ladies dressed in ghost costumes, wearing sunglasses. That's all I saw. What did you see?